Brian and Jeff, what specifically do you do day in and day out, or whatever frequency, to foster, enhance, improve your culture? Are there communications, or what do you do when you're working on culture in your business?
Go for it, I'll follow you.
Okay.
So it's adapted over the years. Obviously, we came out here, we had one store, then two, three, and obviously early times it's really easy to stay connected with the core group of employees. But fast forward all the years, 14 stores, 450 to 500 employees. It's really hard to get across to everyone. So we've kind of had to adapt over the years to really pouring into our core team. So we have obviously a manager at each location, we have an assistant manager at each location, and then a bunch of shift leads. And they all have time during the week where they come out to our office. And every other Monday, all our assistant managers are in our office right down here on Chinden. And we spend at least an hour or two that day, our office staff, our regional directors, our regional managers, just pouring into them, getting them, because we have to spread the message to them to spread down. And we've actually found it almost works better when the assistant manager is spreading it to the crew than the actual manager. And it just, the message seems to get across better because the assistants are kind of a friend of the employees, where the manager of each shop is kind of the boss and isn't viewed in the same light as far as, the manager has to do the hard, discipline and all that. So we do that every other Monday, and then every Tuesday our manager group comes out, and they're in the office. They don't work in the shops on Tuesdays. They're just in the office for the office day. So we try to pour into the core group now that we have so many people, because they're the ones that have to get the message out. And then I have 4 regional managers that oversee different pods of shops. We have the shops in different pod groups, and we shift them around. But they do a lot of stand nights. They do a lot of any activity you can think around Boise, axe throwing, Roaring Springs, all the stuff, seasonal stuff. They always go out and they do culture seminars in those small groups as well. So we try to do as best we can in spreading it around, but it really, the biggest thing we found was we didn't used to do the assistant manager days, but for whatever reason, when we pour things into the assistant managers and they take it back to their crew, the crew really listens and really adapts to that, which has been a great thing for us. It maybe doesn't work for everyone, but it really works well for us. And the managers have bought in too. They understand, like, when the assistant's on board, everyone seems to get on board. So that's been a big thing for us once we started doing those separate days. We used to only have manager days, and then we brought it down. And then once a month we'll have all the shift leads that come in, and that's kind of the tier right underneath our assistant managers. So we have a lot of roles now in what seems like a simple operation of drive-through coffee. We have a lot of roles built in now to just to kind of keep the culture going, because to be perfectly honest, we went through a period of time when we expanded from like 4 or 5 shops, and we jumped to 8 within like a year's time. And our employees, we gained 150 employees within a year, and the culture started dipping, and we noticed that, and we quickly came up with the shift lead idea and things like that to kind of help the culture going, because we saw it going in the wrong direction. We just expanded too fast. So we do a lot of those things on a week-to-week basis, which helps at this point now, but it wasn't without failure first. But
We expanded too fast one time, and so I accelerated the Christmas bonus and gave it to them in the summer. But then they wanted a Christmas bonus too.
yeah, it backfired.
Thank you. Jeff?
So I think the important thing first when we're talking about culture is that every business, every organization has a culture. It's whether you work on it or not, whether it's intentional or whether it's positive or fun or whatever you're trying to create, that's another thing. But culture exists in every organization. And I think what we're talking about is how are you intentional about creating the culture that you want. One of the things that I do is I have to be out there. I have to be with the people. I have to be with my team. And so I go to a lot of our branches, I'll go to a lot of our locations and go shoulder to shoulder with them, work the market. I'll go out there and meet customers, meet the community, and so I'm present with them. I'm not on my ivory tower. I'm walking the walk. And it's not something that is just a a slogan or something we put on the wall. It's something that we live, and that's my responsibility to live that. Otherwise, it's not authentic. And I believe strongly that the culture that we want to have is authentic. It's got to be real. People can see through fake in a second. And they also appreciate, I think people appreciate authenticity. So that's what we really double down on is be yourself, care for your customer, your fellow teammates in an authentic way. The other thing that we look for is opportunities to support our team going through tragedy. So if somebody's going through some hard time in their life, what can we do as a team to support them through that? We've had moments where there was a family going through a hard time, and we had meals delivered to their house for weeks, and that was all driven by our team. That's the beauty of this, is that it doesn't have to come top down. They organize it themselves, and I participate with them. So it's very organic, and that's the beauty of it. But I think we expanded into Washington, and my concern was, how do I make sure that continues up there? So I took branch managers from our current footprint and had them go and serve in Washington, so that they got the feel. And then I'd have another wave go up there of managers, and I just kept sending people up there. One of the things is I didn't want them to feel like they were on an island. I wanted them to feel like they were us. And they said, gosh, we're getting lots of attention. And it was like every week we were sending somebody up there to give them the feel of what our culture was. And the beauty too is, I find that people that don't fit the culture don't stay long. So they opt out.
Yeah, we say that the culture should ooze out of the walls when you walk in.
It does.
You'll attract the right people and reject the wrong people.
Yeah.
I do believe culture starts with us, and it was cheesy, but I changed my title and my email signature to Chief Culture Officer one time. I got teased a lot, so I changed it back. But I do believe Chief Culture Officer is who we are.